Hi, I'm Nelson. Welcome to this video. In this video, I'm going to teach you about indirect speech. I have taught you many things about indirect speech. In this video, first, I will teach you how to report thoughts. Thoughts come from the word think. For example, number one, I will go home. Sarah, imagine going home. Sarah is one person. She's not talking to anyone. She is thinking. So the reporting verb is imagine. Be careful. After imagine, we put what we call a gerund. Imagined going. A gerund means verb plus ing. Sarah imagined going home. There, we are reporting a thought. Number two, I will go home. Sarah told. I want you to see that number two, indirect speech, I'm using told. Number one, imagined. Sarah told Ali. These are two people. Sarah, Ali, two people talking. But number one, Sarah is one person. Sarah is one person. She's not talking to anyone. Sarah told Ali that she would go home. I changes to she, will changes to would. But if it's thinking, after imagined, put verb plus ing. Okay. Number three, why is he going? Sarah wondered. I want you to see that number one, I used imagined. Number three, wondered. Number three is a question. If you are asking yourself a question, the reporting verb is wondered. When you are thinking, telling yourself a sentence, the reporting verb is imagined. So you must get the difference between imagined and wondered. Number four, why is he going? Sarah asked. Asked because there are two people, Sarah and Ali. If there are two people, if you are talking to someone, we say ask. When you are asking yourself a question, we use wondered. And then the rest of the rules of indirect speech apply. Sarah wondered why he was going. Sarah asked Ali why he was going. Practice. Now get your notebook, write the heading. Practice exercise 1, and then you try this. Number 1, Sarah. Sarah is one person. Number 2, Sarah is talking to Ali. Write the appropriate reporting verb and you try number 1 up to 6 in your notebook. Follow the example that I've given. Practice exercise 2. You also try this. Try this in your notebook. Practice exercise 3. Write this in your notebook. Get your notebook and do the exercise. Next, some tenses and verbs don't change. For example, the past perfect remains past perfect. If we have a sentence, I had gone, Sarah said that she had gone. Had gone, had gone. Past perfect remains perfect, past perfect. Past perfect continuous, had been dancing, had been dancing. So the past perfect tenses do not change. They remain the same. Next, we also have what we call modals. Past modals. Modals in the past tense don't change. What are modals? Words like could, would, used to, should, might, ought to, and mustn't or must not. These words do not change. For example, number 1, I could go today. Sarah told Ali that she could go that day. Could remains could, but today changes to that day. I changes to she. Could, would, would remains would. Used to remains used to. Should remains should. You can copy this in your book. Remember, past modal verbs do not change. Copy the example in your book. Might remains might. Past modal verbs do not change. Ought to remains ought to. Must not remains, oh sorry, this is not might, this is must. Must not remains must not. You can copy this and you correct this mistake in your book. Suggestions. Let's look at suggestions. In English, sentences like, let us go home. Why don't we go home? I think we could go home. I think we should go home. These are called suggestions. When you meet suggestions, this is how you change them to indirect speech. Let us go home. There are 2 ways of changing suggestions to indirect speech. Number 1, Sarah suggested going home. After suggested, we use a gerund. We use verb plus ing. We have only one person, Sarah. We omit. Sarah is suggesting to who? We can omit. This is a better way. After suggested, we use verb plus ing. Sarah suggested going home. The second way, you can say Sarah suggested to Ali. Sarah is suggesting to. Number 2, you can put the person you are suggesting to. So in such sentences, you may put the person you are suggesting to or you leave it out. If you leave it out, which is actually better, we use verb plus ing. Sarah suggested to Ali that they should go home. Remember to add should. Number 2, let the boys stand up. Sarah suggested the boys standing up. I want you to see now we are adding a noun. We are not, Sarah is suggesting to who? We don't put the person, but the sentence is let the boys stand up. Sarah suggested the boys standing up. Or let us put Ali. Sarah suggested to Ali that the boys should stand up. You can copy this in your book. Another example. You could wash your hands. That is a suggestion. Could is a word normally used in suggestions. Sarah suggested washing our hands. You, Sarah is talking to who? It could be talking to us, children. Number 2, Sarah suggested to the children that they should wash their hands. Why doesn't the teacher teach now? Sarah suggested the teacher teaching then. Sarah suggested to the teacher that he should teach then. You can copy these sentences in your notebook. Now, let's learn how to change mixed sentences. What are mixed sentences? Direct speech may consist of statement, question, question, command, command, statement, or all the 3. Normally, Each requires its own reporting verbs. For example, we have two sentences. Why did he go? Let us dance. We have two sentences together. One is a question, one is a suggestion. This is how you write this in indirect speech. We say, Sarah asked Ali why he had gone, and she suggested dancing. So we use two reporting verbs, suggested and asked. But we also have statement, question, question. We have a combination. This is how you change such sentences to indirect speech. Normally, when sentences appear in a paragraph, you have to use many reporting verbs. You can copy this in your notebook. Now, write practice exercise 4 and you try this in your notebook. Try this exercise in notebook 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. You try this in your notebook. Now let us learn how to answer yes and no questions. Yes and no in indirect speech. Yes and no are expressed in indirect speech by subject and appropriate auxiliary verb. Appropriate, the necessary auxiliary verb. What is auxiliary verb? I'm going to explain. For example, number 1, can you swim? No. How do you report that in indirect speech? Sarah asked Ali if Sarah asked Ali if he could swim. And he, by he I mean Ali, and he replied that he couldn't. Couldn't because yeah, can changes to could. The answer is no. So you say couldn't. And he replied that he couldn't. Can you swim? Now this is yes and this is no. This is could for yes, couldn't for no. We use could because of this. Can you swim? This is an example of an auxiliary verb. Let us see another example. You will see, you will understand it well. I want you to see that here the question begins with will. So here the answer we say would for yes, wouldn't for no. So you have to look at, of course, will changes to would in indirect speech. So the auxiliary verb will give you what to use here. Sarah asked Ali if he would, sorry, this is a mistake. If he would go, this is would, not could. Sarah asked Ali if he would go, and he replied that he would. Sarah asked Ali if he would, remember will changes to would, if he would go, and he replied that he wouldn't. He wouldn't means he said no. So use the appropriate auxiliary verb when you are faced with yes or no questions. Now we have also another form. Did you go? No. Sarah asked Ali if he had gone, and he replied that he hadn't. He hadn't. Did you go? He hadn't. Of course, did changes to had. Now, this is did. Yes. Does he go? Sarah asked Ali if he went. If he went. And he replied that he did. Because he said yes, we say yes, he did. So yes and no change depending on the auxiliary verb. This is very important. This is yes, no. But here we are saying would, wouldn't because of will. Did, does. Here we are saying hadn't and did because of the auxiliary verb. This one, the first word of the question. Sarah asked, did you go? Then Ali says, no. In indirect speech, we say, Sarah asked Ali if he had gone, And he replied that he hadn't. Remember to copy these examples in your book. Practice exercise 5. Can you try this? 1, 2, 3, 4 in your book. 6, 7, 8, 9. You try this exercise in your book. Next, how do you change sentences which have this word? These words. Thank you. Sarah thanked Ali. Good luck. Good night. Good. These sentences that begins with good, good. The reporting verb is wished. Sarah wished Ali luck. Sarah wished Ali good night. Sarah wished Ali goodbye. When you see these good words, we use wished. Number 3, happy Christmas, happy Eid, happy Easter. That is also a wish. Sarah wished Ali a happy Christmas, a happy Eid, a happy day. That is a wish. Congratulations. In reported speech, we say, Sarah congratulated Ali. Liar, call, you are calling. Sarah called Ali a liar. Welcome to Wales. Sarah welcomed Ali to Wales. Good morning. This is a greeting. Sarah greeted Ali. Remember to copy this in your notebook. Thank you. Good luck. In your notebook, try to do this. Do this exercise in your notebook. Now let's go to our next, what we call the interjections. Words like wow, ha, hooray, yippee. These are called interjections. These words show excitement. So they show happiness. They show joy. So in indirect speech, when you see any of these words, you use the word exclaimed. These are exclamations. So you say, Sarah explained with happiness or joy. Then we have words like alas, oh no, ouch, ow. These are words of sadness, of pain, of sorrow. So we say, Sarah explained with sadness or sorrow. We also have words like what? Oh no. How? Hey. Sarah explained with surprise. These are words of surprise. Then we also have an interjection called bravo. Sarah congratulated. Bravo is a congratulation work interjection. So you can say congratulated or applauded. So you can copy this in your notebook too. When you see this word, then this is called an interjection. In indirect speech, we use the word exclaimed. Remember to copy this in your notebook. Practice exercise. Try this in your notebook. Try this exercise, this practice exercise in your notebook. Remember to write the word practice exercise 6 and you start writing. Exclamations usually become statements in indirect speech. We have another type of sentences where we say, what a nice house. And then you put an exclamation mark. Such sentences begin with what. It is not a question, it is an exclamation. So we say, Sarah exclaimed that. Instead of what, we say that. And we say it, the house is, it was a nice house. What beautiful houses, these ones are many, so we use they. We use it if it is one. When there are many, they. Sarah explained that they were beautiful houses. Remember to copy the example in your book. You also try this exercise in your notebook. Try this exercise in your notebook.